Before we get started on the new stuff, let's have a review back on the old stuff. Alright? For your active board, if your board is not calibrated correctly, how would you calibrate your board?
You go up there with that little thing and make it turn blue.
That's right. You use a nice little calibration tool. Looks like a little active inspired button. You would use that to calibrate it. Alright, I've already started this board, but I need to get to the dashboard. How would I get to the dashboard?
Forget.
There's a little icon.
You can go to view. You can say view and click dashboard.
Go to view and click dashboard. That would take us to our dashboard. That would bring the dashboard back up. What are we using our dashboard for?
What do you want to? What do you want to? Do you want to use flip charts? Do you want to already have a file? You want to do annotations?
Right. We're actually configuring. If we need to configure, if we need to get to Promethean Planet without typing PrometheanPlanet.com, if we want to start a new flip chart, and this is another way to get to the annotated over the desktop or importing PowerPoints or anything of that sort. Alright, now I have my nice little thing to where my board is showing here, but I don't have any tools. How would I get my tools back?
That little thing on the side.
Hover over the nice little thing over here. Now, when I move from it, it disappears again. How do I get it to pin onto it?
Pull it back out.
And then there's a pin tool, and it pins it to the actual board. Now I'm missing my browser on the other side. How do I get that back? Come over here, and it pulls the browser back up. Can anybody tell me what this second icon is used for?
Resource browser.
Resource browser. And the next one? Object browser. And the next one? Notes. And the next one?
Building browser.
Properties for building. And then the next one?
Action browser.
Actions. And our very last one?
Voting browser.
Voting browser. All right.
That's what you're going to get when the girls, when the...
Oh, the clicker thing.
Oh, y'all are good. All right. Well, here's what we're going to cover in this session. We're actually going to cover the voting, the slate, the active view, which is your camera. So we're going to go through how to use all of those devices. And we're going to start with your very first one of why these features are needed. Okay? These features are really to engage your students in the classroom. Get them to be using the actual devices, keep them moving. For the clickers, it's something similar to their cell phones, so they get excited that they got nice little things with numbers on. And they can send text messages and things of that sort. And then it's actually to enhance the lessons that you are actually teaching. Now let's talk about the active slate. And we're going to talk about the installation of the active slate. This here is your nice little slate. We have multiple different types of them across the campus. I'm going to let you pass that one around. Here, this slate allows you to actually write on the slate from anywhere in the classroom. Okay? I use it as a tool in my classroom where I can stand in the back of the class and watch everybody else in the classroom and write notes at the same time. My classrooms are filled with computers. Students get antsy. If I'm standing at the front and at the board, they're on Facebook or Twitter. But if I'm at the back of the classroom writing notes, they're writing notes too because they know I'm in the back of the classroom. To activate the board, there's a nice little hub. It's a USB hub that's plugged into the actual computer. And then there's this slate. To turn the slate on, there's an orange button on the back. You turn it, you press the orange button. Once you press the orange button, there's a menu right here that shows up. If the slate is not registered to that board, you would hover over this nice little thing right here, and it would ask you to put in the actual pin. You would put in the pin using these characters here, and the computer would actually give you a pin. And configure. Once you get to configure, you would actually go and register a device. Once you get to register a device, you would see the slate, and to register a device, you would click out there, and if that device shows up and you haven't registered it here, like her board is actually registered right now. There you go. This one comes up to register, it would be 2 slates registered in one. Because what happens is, for the classrooms, I may have my own slate, and another instructor is using that same classroom, and they'll have their own slate. We don't leave the slates in the classroom because they get feet and walk. So everybody has their own slate. So they would register their slate on their board. So when they come in, the slate is registered for them to use. Okay? You done there?
But what do you need that slate for?
This number of things. I mean, I could be, instead of going up to the board, I could be right here writing.
And then it'll show up on the board.
And then we're gonna get some practice. Alright, now right on the board like you were at the board. First you gotta change into your pen tool. How do you get to your pen tool?
I couldn't figure that out.
You're just using this. This is like your pen tool. You gotta come over here.
So I need to come up there.
No.
This is your board in your hand.
Just put your pen down. Just see where it is. There you go. There's your pointer.
Put your pen down. Put your pen down. And look at the board.
Oh, okay.
Now move it over there.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Move that pen tool. Now hit the board. There you go.
Okay.
Now come back over to the board and write on.
There you go,
What do you
now.
want me to write?
Anything.
Why put
Anything.
You can put Marcus is the best.
I'm
Or
sorry
something like
about
that.
that one good. I couldn't figure out how to make it different.
I am so far behind.
Alright, so now that's the thing for the board. Say you never have to walk up to the board. You can be sitting in the back of the classroom. The students are actually trying to learn, take notes, and you're writing notes from the back of the classroom. Another thing is students don't like to get up and be seen. But if they're at their seat, if you give them a multiple choice question, or say a fill in the blank and you want them to actually write in the blank of the question, you can hand them the slate and say, write the answer. Because some of them don't like to get up. Math problems, you have a 2 plus 2, and the 4, you need to put 4, give them the board, they write 4. You can pass it on. There, test it out. It's just like you actually writing at the board. Now, it takes, to be honest, it takes a lot of practice. With me, it was easy because I used to write on a tablet PC so I could write without looking at the slate. But sometimes you have to figure out where you are, and just know that this board and this slate, this is a smaller version of the board. So this corner over here would be the corner of that board. So that's all you're looking at, is that it's a smaller version of the actual board. Alright?
Hit clear.
Hit clear. You know how to hit clear?
Yeah, no, you're not going to bottom.
She want to be extra. She want to be extra.
Alright, there you go. And you erase from the actual
Why you
board.
make that stuff?
About math, and you can put them on your math with
Now, here's another thing. If, say for not even writing, but you have an actual name call out. Say you want to select the students' names. Okay? Students, they're doing an assignment. You have a pop quiz real quick. Quick quiz is what I call it. And you want to call their name out. But you don't want to just say, they just say, you're picking on me. Okay? So to randomly call their name out, who has the board? Alright, move your actual tool over, get your selection tool.
You got to get rid of the eraser.
Yep, get your selection tool. There you go. Tap the board. There you go. Got it? Alright. Now, once you tap the selection tool, if you move the mouse around a little bit, it's going to change. Don't click yet. Then move it around the actual Albany text. There. You see how it changes? Now slide that out. There you go. So what happens is you can select the student's name randomly from anywhere in the classroom. If you try it again, there's some more names back then. The actual tool changes from the regular clicker to the actual pointers with the arrows or cross with pointers on the end. I pick all of these. There you go. See, that's how that actually works. And that's fun from the back of the classroom. And most times when you first do it, students go, oh, how did you do that?
The doctor's on that side, I believe.
Know where they at? They loaded.
But no, that's not true.
There's only one left.
Oh,
There you go. Well, it's actually two left.
How you know?
because he knows the senior staff.
There you go. Alright, and that's randomly calling out students' name. Alright?
Okay.
Let's move on.
Question.
Uh-huh.
You have to put students in the class first.
You have to put the names in there just where you all learned the text box tool in the previous session. All you're doing is doing a text box tool and moving it behind the background or moving it on the same color of your text. You put up an orange box and put your orange text in it and just slide
And
it.
you save it somewhere?
You just save in the flip chart.
Oh, you just know that you're going to do that for that day and you go ahead and do it.
That's
Okay.
correct. Now, for a Venn
You use that
diagram.
layer thing, right? You use the layers.
The layers. You're using your layers. Because when you use your layers, you put it behind the actual, whatever the image is. You put the text behind it. For your Venn diagrams, if you're sitting in the back of the classroom and you want to move numbers in between your Venn diagram, who else want to try?
Sure, I'll try.
She won't try.
Alright? Just say we're going to move your 2 to where it should go. You gotta click it. Gotta click it. Click. There you go. And students are able to do that from their desk. If we're trying to find out the multiples of 60 and 36, what goes into 60 and 36? And that's how students would actually do that from their desk. Okay? Alright, before moving on, are there any questions about the slate? Everybody got the slate?
I guess we're done with this lady. Probably trying to.
Any more questions about the slate? Okay. Alright.
Does a pen come with a slate or we have to use the other pens we already have?
Some of them come with the slate. If they're coming right out the package, they're gonna come with the slate. But if they're you will use the pen that you already
The
have.
pen comes with the slate.
Okay. I'll make sure you don't treat me.
Alright, the active view is our camera. It's a nice little thing right here. It looks like a little robot. Okay? It has a USB cable to it. It's not like the slate where the slate has a hub. The actual camera has to be plugged in